Today I just thought I'd do a short video on a project I don't typically do. This is my wife's 2014 Subaru Impreza, and it's been a really good car to us. It's getting a little older and the front kind of got beat up. It's been in a car wreck, and then it was a body shop poorly repainted it. And so it has a lot of paint coming off, and late night purchase on eBay. I got a pre-painted new bumper and a new grille to kind of change the look of it. Some new headlights and stuff. So we're going to be going through today and giving the car a facelift. So here we go. Should have got a before video because I suck at this. But the top of my wife's headlights were starting to get foggy. And so I used this cheap Walmart Turtle Wax cleaning finish polishing compound and this cheap thing I had laying around, and went and buffed the top of them, and it took that stuff right out. It looks really good. All right, this is going to be the new front bumper. We're going through and we pulled everything we needed to reuse off of the old front bumper, putting fog light assemblies in and everything. I've also gone through and replaced the boomerang light and the side marker with LEDs. I don't know about you guys, but I got pretty big hands, and the factory way of doing it is to get in behind the light through this little gap here and turn them, and I simply can't do that. So while the bumper was off, I pulled, there's two 10mm bolts here, 10mm bolt up top, one there, one on the side, and a couple of alignment clips. And then I actually pulled the headlight out and replaced those LEDs. So about ready to stick this new bumper on. We're gonna button it up, get our fog lights put in, which are updating with new LED lights. It should be pretty cool. So here we go. I been working on Mel's car. This is her old bumper and grill, and some lazy body shop did a really bad job with it a couple years back, and the paint's continuously peeled. We've had them repaint it and it just peels again, so I gave up and bought a new bumper. Had a company paint it and ship it to me. So that's her old grill too. And right after her year, they made this way cooler looking grill, and I'm an infantile little man-child, so I had to get it. So that's her new grill, and it totally changes the look of her car. So it's on its winter tires right now, and it's lame rims, but these are the rims it's on in the summer, so it'll be pretty cool. We're getting really close to having a blacked out look, and I'm excited about it. And I just wanted to share that with you, John. You probably don't care because you're not a car guy. Oh man, that's made a huge difference. Much brighter. We live in a rural area in Kansas, and deer are always a concern, so with the LED conversion, we definitely will be able to see a lot further down the road. Be a safer situation. And the front bumper and grill look amazing. Pretty happy with it. Pretty easy to take off. Took me about an hour to take the old bumper off and get the new bulbs. Like I said, it was much easier for me to just pull this headlight to replace these two lights here than it was to try to weasel through there. In fact, I don't think I could have done it at all. So, neat little mod. Next, we'll move on to a new head unit and reverse light. So I'll show you guys that probably tomorrow. Probably done for the day. Well, it's the next day. I was going to put a head unit in the car, but then the aftermarket one I ordered, and I didn't think about it, was going to be too difficult to wire into the steering controls, so we kind of dropped that idea for now. We'll pick it back up a little later when we can afford a more expensive unit that's going to work easier. But today, it's 2 days after we put the new front bumper on and did the LED upgrades. Car's looking really cool. But it's time for our maintenance cycle. So I'm just checking over the car. I typically date everything, so hopefully I did. Check the oil. The oil's due. I got the oil filter off and cleaning up the housing. Coolant is obviously good. That's our new oil filter. And these AC Delco oil filters look pretty good, and they're really cheap as far as Subaru goes. So hopefully they'll last, work for me. So $3.95 an oil filter ain't a bad deal on a import change. So I'm gonna check the air filter now, which was changed in, looks like, when I did the coolant. So that's definitely good for a while longer. I go about 30,000 miles on those, but it never hurts to check. I work on a lot of cars, including my own. So with my own stuff, I try to make it really easy when I touch things. So I Sharpie everything I've changed. So I'll probably write on here when I do the spark plugs today, which also we will do the spark plugs, and I will have to look into a little bit on the easiest way to do that, because it is a boxer engine. So they're right here against the frame. So I'm guessing air cleaner's got to come out, and on this side, and it looks like on that side the battery's probably got to come out. But thanks to the wonders of YouTube and a network of really good mechanics I can rely on, I'm sure somebody out there has the quickest, easiest way to do it, so I don't have to think about it. We'll get into it. You know, something I wanted to touch on, Subaru recommends 0 weight 20 in these cars, and I think that's good and great for a young engine to get a little better gas mileage. But as for all the research and stuff I've done, just my own experience looking at engines that have ran lighter weight oil versus heavier weight oil, obviously it all depends on tolerances and engineering, but I really do believe that 0 weight 20 is just too light of an oil. I've ran it without thinking about it for the first 75K, and we haven't had a problem yet, but I've went ahead and decided this oil change, car has 75K on it now, and it's been very trouble-free, but I think it's time to start running a thicker oil. I'm sure as the engine has mileage, it has gained some tolerance and stuff, and I think it will be happier. The car is not cold driven enough for me to be concerned about where, due to the heavier weight, this car gets turned on, warmed up, and driven down the highway. It's a highway queen. So it's not getting short duty cycles or anything like that that would concern me. But it is, running at high RPM under load a lot down the highway, and I think it would benefit long term to switch to a heavier oil. So some of you guys might crucify me for that. I don't know. I know plenty of people that agree with me and have switched to heavier weight on these engines, and they have been successful with that change. And I know plenty of people have done it that are definitely way harder on their cars than this. And then my wife is on this car. So this oil change will be switching to 5 weight 30. Long term it will be synthetic, decent oil. But I've already switched my Explorer for different reasons to 10 weight 30 away from 5 weight 30 because it's beginning to have cam wear and valve train noise, and I just was tired of listening to it click. But I'd already bought this for an oil change and then didn't use it, so I think it'll be fine for 5,000 miles. I don't know if you guys know the trick with SuperTech. SuperTech in the Midwest is supplied by Warren Oils, which is actually a very high quality oil that you can run in your vehicle, so you can get it really cheap with the SuperTech badge in most Midwestern Walmarts. I believe this was $13, so I think for one oil change, I'm not that worried about it. We'll run this oil. Alright, so I already got the driver's side off. I pulled the battery and tray and retaining bracket, and then I was able to, with 10mm short extension on, just in combination with my electric ratchet and regular ratchet, was able to pull the capillary bolts that hold the coils down. So as you can see, this is what 75,000 miles looks like. I would definitely follow the recommended manufacturer's specification, which is 60K miles. I just overlooked it. There's some oiling and everything on there, and I think that goes back to just, I think 20 weight is just too thin. It's easy to get past seals, causes coking and stuff. But otherwise, I mean, other than being worn, these plugs look in good shape. The engine doesn't look hurt. So, yep, you move the battery tray. Then I got a 14mm socket plug, or plug socket, just because it makes my life easier. I like these. I saw some guys online that just used 14mm deep sockets, which is fine, but until you drop it on the floor or drop it down in the pan, I guess it'd be the scrape pan on the bottom of the car, then you're annoyed. So do this, and then it'll just stay in there, and then you don't have to be annoyed. So did that. And for the passenger side, you do as far as I can see, to make your life easier, you do have to remove the intake air filter housing, and that will get you pretty good access on this side, and then you just repeat the method from the driver's side. You know, something that often pops up in my head is engineering a car is a science. Repairing a car is an art. And because of that, you will have a million different people tell you a million different ways how to read plugs. And they act like they're some kind of mystic. I don't know how to do that. I don't worry about it. I think the basic thing to look for on plugs that you're replacing, as far as indicating engine wear, is just simply the evenness of wear. So if you look at these plugs, they're all the same amount of brown. They all have the same amount of varnish on them from oil. And then they all have the same amount of heat scoring going up the stock. As you can see, there's not been any water ingress into the engine or anything like that to cause corrosion on the plugs. I also kind of look the same on the coils. If you look at the coils, this part's resin-coated metal. That's part of the actual coil that's in there. And sometimes that resin can pop off from heat scoring and they'll corrode. So you want to keep an eye out for that on coil packs. Anything that looks rusty or gunky is bad, but as far as these plugs go, I don't have anything I'm concerned of. 75,000 miles, it shouldn't. I see even plug wear, and I see just spark plugs that are due for a replacement. Nothing crazy, nothing exciting or scary. So, all right, well, that's going to do it for today's video. Here's the new spark plugs. If you don't already know, never trust the gap, so they can get changed in shipping, so just check your gap and then reverse the method of capture. Just do the opposite of what you did to get you here, and then you're done. Well, there you go.